you've got a mile of boxcars chasing you home, it's getting close to the end of the line. You can almost taste what's coming, because the next stop is called Miller Time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we got the beer, Miller Beer.
Hi, gang. No, this ain't a beer. It's STP oil treatment. I take care of my own cars, and I've been using STP for the last 10 years. The troops at STP tell me it makes your oil tougher, even a premium 10W40. And it helps reduce engine wear and you burn less oil. What I'm telling you is it works. And you can take that to the bank.
If you couldn't register to vote last time around, do it this time around. If you couldn't register to vote last time around, do it this time around.
Brought to you by the National Basketball Association as a public service.
Red Auerbach on Round Ball. Red Auerbach on Round Ball is sponsored by Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Dutch Masters cigars.
Ross Billings of Dutch Masters Cigars is in charge of curing the world's most expensive to-grow wrapper tobacco. Instruments in the dark curing sheds can tell him a lot, but only his master's nose can tell the moment great tobacco says it is ready to be a Dutch Master cigar.
That's beautiful.
Now you know why a Dutch Masters like our president tastes so good. They really are masters at Dutch Masters.
There we go. Now, what good is possession of the ball? What good is great defense if you got a big man that may throw the ball away? Now, we have Wes Unseld, in my opinion, the best passing big man in the game today. Guarding Elvin Hayes, also from the Washington Bullets. Clem Haskins on the defense from the Bullets, and Mike Reardon also from the Bullets. Now, what we're trying to do is to show that even though you're a good rebounder and get the ball, it's too easy to throw away. Now, we just demonstrated Wes Unseld throwing the ball on a two-handed outlet pass. Now, Wes, how do you feel about that? How do you prefer to throw it?
Well, Red, I think I would rather come down on the floor, get my position, and then make the pass.
Well, that's an interesting point, because a lot of kids that throw it in the air, they throw it as they get the ball, and they don't look, and they throw it away. So your most important point is to lift your head up first, see what you're going to do, and then make the throw.
That's right.
All right, now, Mike, take the shot again. You got him, Clem. Wes, do it this time with the one hand. All right. All right, just a little sidebar here. Now, you notice that Clem Haskins, who was guarding Mike Reardon on the play, as soon as that shot went up and he saw that Wes was going to get the rebound, he immediately went from the defense to the offense on the side, knowing that Wes Unseld will get him the ball. All right, now let's go into a pivot. You're in a pivot, Wes. You got the offense. Mike, you're on the defense. Now, watch how a big man operates from the pivot. All right, now that's a little shovel pass. Now, you notice when Wes threw that pass, he didn't hit him with the ball, but you notice how he just gave it a little shovel pass. Very simple. What's your objective when you're making a little simple play like that?
Well, to give the man a good pass.
Exactly.
The other thing is to hide that ball. Don't let this man behind me see what I'm going to do with it.
That's right. In other words, you're protecting it with your elbows, your body, and you're hiding the ball. Now, that's a good point. Okay, cut by him again. Now, watch this pass. Now, there's a little hook pass. Beautiful play. A simple, over-the-head pass. What is the objective of all passing? Somebody's got to catch it. You don't want to see how strong you are, how tough you are, how hard you can throw the ball. You want him to catch it. That's the purpose of it. Now, you fans out there, remember one thing. Possession of this ball is the all-important thing. Don't try to show off and make those crazy passes, or when you get a rebound, go like this and grin so somebody will take your picture. Meanwhile, you hold up the whole ball game. Get that ball out of there, but make sure one of your men catch it.
Here in the Caribbean, Jaime Moscoso, a master of the soil, breeds tobacco for Dutch Master cigars. Today he must select the best plants so the flowers can be bagged to protect the purity of their seed. Bagging is a master's way to be sure the great taste of Dutch Masters doesn't change. Now you know why a Dutch Masters like the elite is worth more. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
Red Auerbach on Round Ball has been sponsored by Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Dutch Master cigars. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
There is no basketball like playoff basketball in the NBA. At halftime for the Milwaukee Arena, it's the Detroit Pistons 56 and the Milwaukee Bucks 55. The winner of this series goes on, and Tuesday night, that man in the middle, Al Attles, who has been talking to Mindy Rudolph during halftime, will be directing his defending world champion Golden State Warriors out in Oakland against either Milwaukee or Detroit. Phyllis George traveled out to the West Coast. She wanted to find out what life is like for a defending champion, and so she takes a special look as she finds a team that is not just one superstar.
Basketball fans here in the Bay Area were as surprised as anyone last year when the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship. This year, however, the Warrior fans have expected success, and so far they haven't been disappointed. Coach Al Attles has put together a winning team that's very much together. The two seem to go hand in hand. Yet finishing the season with the best record in the NBA isn't enough. The Warriors still feel they have something to prove. Rick Barry, Cliff Ray in the Sherlock Holmes cap, two second-year stars, Jamal Wilkes and Phil Smith, all received votes in the Players' MVP balloting this year. Nevertheless, Coach Al Attles told me he still feels the team is underrated.
Well, I think last year they underestimated it, and I think this year they're underestimating us a little bit. I've heard from different sources that there are a lot of people around the league who don't think that we have players who could play for other teams. There are a lot of people in the media who are saying they don't think the Warriors are as good as their record indicates, and I have one saying for that. If teams want to rationalize after we beat them, that's all well and good for me, and I think that we will continue to go out and work hard and try to win basketball games, and if we can continue to play the way we are, I hope that things can happen like they did last year for us. Everything that we've done as a unit. I've gotten a lot of credit for things. I think the players have gotten credit for things, but I think that we all realize that we've done it together, and I feel that we will continue to do things together because we have the type of individuals that believe in this.
Rick Barry, how has your life and time been playing on this team?
Phyllis, last 2 seasons have been the most rewarding basketball seasons I've ever experienced. The game has finally become what I thought it was supposed to be all during my career, and that is a team game where everybody is geared towards the common objective of winning a championship, and everybody is prepared to sacrifice their own individual goals for the common goal of the team. And I think that with the potential that we have and the way we're capable of playing basketball when we are prepared, that without injuries, there's no reason why we should not be able to beat the teams that we play against in the playoffs.
I certainly hope we're going to the playoffs ready. I think there are going to be some fine teams that are going to be ready to play. I think last year was a thing of maybe being underconfident. I hope we're not overconfident this year. And, I believe that we're certainly capable of winning a game. We just have to go out and do it. I give Rick a lot of credit because a lot of superstars don't want to give the ball up. And Rick is a content to see us win, even if he doesn't score as many points as he knows he might be able to. And I think, you know, like everyone here has said, you know, we have a lot of guys that have just great attitudes, and it makes working more fun.
Just playing with the Warriors, you know, it's like having, like Cliff, older brother, and Rick, a guy who tries to, you know, discipline you out there. Okay, do this and that type of thing. And Jamal, he's like, you know, a brother on the team. And CJ, he's like the quiet guy. And all the rest of the guys are just super on our ball club.
Jamal, are you spoiled?
He's got to be spoiled. UCLA coming here, he wouldn't. They don't know how tough it is. It took 10 years for me to get here. These guys walk in the first year and they're champions.
You never could get tired of winning. I think, you know, after you win a lot, you got to rearrange your thinking in that you just want to go out and do the best you can. And it's not so much winning or losing, but if you lose and you did the best you can, you know, I don't think people have a right to ask for more than that.
I think any team gives our team trouble when we don't do the things that we are supposed to go out and do night after night. If we go out and we follow a game plan that our coach sets up for us, then no team gives us a problem.
Clifford, you are not the biggest center, nor do you have the best statistics in the NBA, yet you continue to win. What is your trick?
I have no tricks. I just go out and play basketball the only way that I know how to play. And I feel like that being a good center does not dictate scoring a lot of baskets or being statistically concerned with the game. I think it all is involved in winning.
Gentlemen, what do you have to do to keep Clifford Ray from laughing?
You can't stop him. You just bust out any minute. Right now.
Just get him around a pretty young girl that he doesn't really know, and he gets very shy quick.
Oh, shy? You saying it?
Yeah, well, if he's around the other guys.
Who's the real ham on the team? Is he?
Oh, without any question. I mean, he just puts on a big facade for the TV camera, and he's really a fool.
Oh, all right, who's the silent one on the team?
Charles Johnson, I would say. Phil's kind of quiet, but Jack is really quiet. Jamal's quiet, too, but he's starting to talk to the officials even, this guy.
Well, who's the sexy one on the team? Because Jamal made a film.
Coach. No, Coach.
Oh, the coach?
Yeah. There isn't a fellow on the team who can't really laugh at a joke. And take a little bit of kidding, and I think that's really important because some players can't take jokes.
Which brings me to the point, Rick, has your hairpiece slowed you down and made you top heavy?
They would take a joke. Actually, what happened is that it's made me look about 4 or 5 years younger, but my legs don't feel any younger, so that's a real problem. If I could find somebody out there who's had to do that for me, I wish they'd give me a call quick.
Did you get that, folks? Well, it's been a great year for the Warriors and their fans here in the Bay Area. In compiling the best record for the NBA, the Warriors have never lost more than 2 games in a row and were the first team to clinch their division title. But now comes the NBA second season, and as the Warriors press guide indicates, as far as championship seasons are concerned, once is not enough. This is Phyllis George for CBS Sports in San Francisco.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. They called him Boss Tweed. He ruled a city and robbed it. See his incredible story on The American Parade, Thursday night on CBS.
Take a look at your lawn. You see those thin spots out there? Now's the time to do something about it. Just look what an early spring feeding of Scott's Turf Builder will do. It'll help your grass send out new branches, either tillers or rhizomes, to form new grass plants that'll thicken up your lawn and fill in those thin spots. But do it early. It's better for your lawn, and you'll even save money during Scott's Early Bird Sale.
Don Rickles versus National Car Rental.
Sir? You can't take this car.
I rented it. What'd you do, hide the engine?
This is your Chevy Malibu. This one just came back. It can't be rented until I inspect it.
Come on. You'd rent me a Camel if I take it.
No car leaves this lot until I check out every item on this list.
Give some guys a pen, and they go bananas.
National's Maintenance Checklist. It certifies the condition of your car in writing.
Channel 2, New York.
And here at halftime at the Milwaukee Arena, the Milwaukee Bucks have come out to begin warming up as they trail the Detroit Pistons by a score of 56-55 in what so far has been an awfully entertaining basketball game. And Mindy Rudolph, you were cross court talking to Al Attles. What do you have to say?
Al is here scouting the game, the third game. He had his assistant coach scouting the first 2 games. He liked to get 2 pair of eyes on these 2 teams. Al Attles is worried about one thing. He's concerned about his club getting a little too complacent against both of these clubs, but neither of these clubs, Detroit or Milwaukee, has beaten Golden State all year. They're 0-10 against these 2 clubs, and they're concerned that Al Attles gets his club a little too comfortable just laying around watching these clubs play.
All right, Mindy, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. Now, I know you missed some of that early action because of the overtime game. Here is Elmore Smith of Milwaukee with a fine pass inside and a stop. Elmore missed here on the turnaround. Lanier controlled. And you'll see Eric Money, who has been rapidly improving in the backcourt. Detroit, of course, lost Kevin Porter 19 games into the season, so it's been up to Money. Junior Bridgman, on a pass from Brian Winters, hit the jump shot as Milwaukee began to come back midway through the second quarter. Eric Money, here he is picking Jim Price clean and driving in. He'll make a pass, and it will be Chris Ford, the other guard. Now, Ford on defense was spectacular. He held Brokaw to 1 of 6 in the first half. Here come the Bucks on the attack. Brokaw missing, and it is George Trapp on the control, and you'll watch Herb Brown's fast break. Here is Money with a pass over to Curtis Rowe, who comes down right on top of Bobby Dandridge, and look at how gently he just lays it up and in. It is 56-55 at halftime as Detroit warms up, and they lead by a single point right now as we take a look at some of their individual scoring in the first half. Curtis Rowe was 16 points, and Mindy, he was strong early on that offensive board.
But it was Eric Money who led the fast break with Ford and Lanier coming back to put themselves 1 point ahead. Now, in Milwaukee, it's been all Brian Winters. Brian Winters is at 21 points with Dandridge, and surprisingly enough, Myers contributing 8 points to this club. They need some scoring up front.
Mindy, those 21 points by Brian Winters are the result of 10 of 13 shooting. Just sensational.
I like the idea of a non-aerosol spray. I prefer Band Basic because it's a non-aerosol.
I like the fact that it's a non-aerosol product.
We went to Texas to ask the people in League City to try something they'd never used before. A new non-aerosol antiperspirant spray called Band Basic. It delivers a fine, even spray with no aerosol propellants. 7 out of 10 of the aerosol users who had a preference preferred Band Basic over the regular spray brand.
It gave me the protection that I expected. Being a non-aerosol is very important to me.
And Band Basic is so effective. Tests have shown that it stops wetness better than Arid Extra Dry.
Band Basic keeps me drier than any of the other ones I've ever used. Keeps me drier.
Sprays where I want it to.
I like Band Basic because it's very effective and it's a non-aerosol spray.
And Band Basic can save you money. Ounce for ounce, it lasts 4 times longer than leading aerosols. If you get that much economy and effectiveness, shouldn't you try Band Basic, the new non-aerosol antiperspirant spray?
Mobility is a key word in basketball. You've got to be in the right place at the right time. I'm Jim Price of the Milwaukee Bucks, and at this neighborhood house and through thousands of United Way agencies, volunteers provide the mobility many older Americans need. Volunteers use their own cars to take the elderly to the doctor or just on a friendly visit. Thanks to you, it works. For all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service on behalf of the National Basketball Association.
The NBA on CBS is sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Buffalo, 124. Philadelphia, 123. Buffalo.
Well, we want to wish everyone a happy Easter along the line, and in your Easter bonnet.
I was kibitzing around and they took this on tape. I didn't know that. I'd have done more.
That's the cap that Herbie Brown brought as a good luck token yesterday and brought it to practice. Milwaukee in possession right now. Money and Brokaw were battling for the basketball. You look just so delightful. Here's Elmore Smith. Double team. He's got it. Milwaukee up by a point, 57-56. Just underway. The second half from the arena in Milwaukee. If you joined us late, Buffalo defeated Philadelphia 124-123 in overtime. Buffalo advances. They will take on the Boston Celtics next. You will see one of those games next Sunday on CBS. Ford misses Elmore Smith. Outlet Winters. Winters and Ford collide. Winters came right into him, and Ford was there, but he did not have stationary position. So the foul is against Chris Ford, his third.
The big thing was it going to be a backcourt foul or not? And he just took one step up in the front court, which made it a non-shooting foul.
1 point lead. David Myers inside rolls, but no, it's an offense called against David Myers. His third personal foul and a big call at this point.
This is what they need, some up-front scoring, and there's a little bump before he goes up against Curtis Rowe, causing the offensive foul.
Lanier tries to get Detroit back ahead, and he does.
Bob Lanier, 58-57.
58-57. Winters and Brokaw. Dandridge, Myers, and Elmore Smith on the floor for Milwaukee. Money Ford, Lanier, Rowe, and Al Everhart for the Pistons. Smith on the pick, and he collided with Curtis Rowe, and Rowe nicked Elmore as he came around. So the foul is against Rowe, his second.
You know how closely matched are these teams against each other over the 7 games they played. Milwaukee averaged 100.4, Detroit 99.9. Each game of the first 2 playoffs, Brent, were 3 points apiece.
Mindy, here's Dandridge getting free. And Myers at that board. He was fouled as he came up.
And he is stunned. He's up against that mat, and I'll tell you, when he got hit, it's a good thing there was padding on that stanchion, or else he'd have really come up with a bad concussion. Now let's watch this, as Lanier will do the dirty work here. There's your foul. A little trip, which was accidental. And take a look at Myers. I'll tell you, he is hurt.
Here's the isolation.
Yeah, let's pick him up again. You talked about help that they need up front, and Myers is the kid who's doing it for them right now. They need some muscle, and he goes up again, and they'll need that. Wow, what a shot he took, and he's groggy.
Back up on his feet. He should get a tremendous roar from this crowd for the way he has played.
Hayes Myers at the line for the Bucks. He will shoot 2.
Well, they'll have a couple of free throws as he comes out. Mindy, he has a sister out on the West Coast who also is an excellent basketball player. I broadcast a game once on the CBS Sports Spectacular. I think she wound up scoring about 12 points against the national team from the Soviet Union. She plays with a great deal of desire, just like David. Tied at 58. So David Myers, who just took some blow to the back of the head, has got a chance to put Milwaukee back into a 1-point lead. He does. 10:33 to go here in the third quarter, and John Wooden would have to be awfully proud of the way David Myers is playing here in the Milwaukee Arena this afternoon. Chris Ford back on the attack for Herb Brown's Pistons. Al Everhart in his second year out of Missouri. Gives it back to Money. Brian Winters watches him. Money comes up at the left baseline. Elmore Smith snaps down the rebound. Here comes Winters bringing it back quickly. He lost control of it and turned it over on the dribble. So Detroit will have it on the side.
I disagree, Brent. He did not lose control. He had a high dribble. I thought it was a bad call by the officials at that point, because all he did was really just touch the ball at a high arc, which really was, you've got to have your hand underneath the ball to palm, and he did not have that.
Howard Porter checks back in, and Earl Strom thanks you for your interpretation, big guy. Rose got his man off his feet. It was Myers, missed. Down comes Brokaw, dribbles around Chris Ford. Brokaw 1 of 6 in the first half. Elmore Smith and a fine assist that time from Brokaw. So when you're cold, do something else to help your basketball team, and Brokaw does. Here's Money, and Brokaw looks behind him to see if they're going to try to pick him off, and Lanier is trying. Now they pass to Ford, who gets inside at the line. Winters all over, and here's Curtis Rowe, up with a right-handed hook. Lanier with an easy offensive board. Elmore Smith's got to push him out.
That's what I
can't give him that spot.
About position, Lanier just followed the ball, had the inside position, and Elmore Smith was nowhere near him.
Now, Mindy, we've got 9:25 to go in the third. Milwaukee ahead by 1 point. A couple of young, improving teams. They came down the stretch. Dandridge still may go and did not. Rebound Rowe. Ford brings it up. Pistons with a chance to slide back into the lead. Here's Money. And Myers with a defensive rebound. Winters in the middle has Brokaw ahead of him, and Chris Ford got a hand on it. And the ball will go over to Detroit.
Got to give Chris Ford an awful lot of credit on that play. He was the only one back on defense. He knew the fast break was coming, tried to stall it until he got some help, and made a great steal. And not only that, but picked up the turnover on it.
We know America wants a better car. Easy to maneuver, carries 6 in comfort, easy on gas, and above all, style. Build that car.
We did it! Comfort, luxury, style.
And the EPA ratings are 25 on the highway and 17 in the cities.
Wonderful. You made a Cutlass Supreme.
Everyone would like to build a Cutlass Supreme. Get the original from Oldsmobile.
The man is golfer Johnny Miller. The look is Johnny Miller menswear. The idea is a very smart one. At Sears, you buy each piece separately, then put together the outfits that suit you. The patterns, the solid colors all work together handsomely and at sensible prices. Johnny Miller menswear. It's a very together look. And that's America style. Exclusively in selected larger Sears stores.
You're about to travel the extra miles the average car will get from a tank full of gasoline by changing to a new, higher-priced synthesized motor oil that reduces friction so well, it can save you up to 10 miles per tank full. New Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas.
And here's Detroit with possession. You see our situation and the two coaches looking on. Curtis Rowe waiting to set up the play for the Pistons. Chris Ford comes over to the corner. Elmore Smith, outlet pass David Myers. Money was back and Myers traveled.
A little bit of a heck of a turnover. That's tough because Elmore Smith picked up a good rebound. And what they're doing right now is they're holding Detroit to just one shot.
8 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Milwaukee Arena. Howard Porter gives it off to Eric Money. Lanier wants it high. Money goes the other way. Here's Porter's spot. Turnaround jump shot.
Howard Porter. 62.
Detroit goes back ahead. 62-61. Now the Bucks will try to regain the lead. Let's see what they come up with from Larry Costello's repertoire. And Money anticipated the pass, tried to save it, but stepped on the sideline. It is out of bounds. Mindy, I mentioned that both teams finished hot. Milwaukee came down the stretch, winning 6 of its last 8 games, whereas Detroit won 10 of its last 13, as both teams wrapped up spots in the playoffs. Milwaukee's record, 38-44, identical to its record of a year ago when they finished last in the Midwest. This year they win it. Dandridge to the basket, but the whistle was blown. He was fouled as he began that charge. Rowe has picked up his third, and that is the 4th team foul against Detroit. Mary Alice Fox looking on. A year ago, Mindy, we used to take pictures of her while she was watching out in Seattle when Jim was playing for Bill Russell with the Supersonics. Tonight, a big game out there. Supersonics are down at Phoenix. What an interesting series that has been. Winters with a miss. Lanier rebounds, and here is Rowe. And Money did not turn around and Brokaw on the steal. Milwaukee comes right back. They can go into the lead. Brokaw passes off. He was well defended. Now Winters with a little baseline jump shot has got the Bucks ahead. What an offensive game he has played. Now it is 63-62. Detroit is back trailing by that single point. Winters sticking right with Eric Money. Here is Rowe. Passes off to Ford. Inside. Money free. Pistons up by a point.
Eric Money moving exceptionally well without the ball, and Chris Ford has a great eye for that. He'll find you if you're the open man. Now, that is not a very, very smart foul. You know, you take a look at these ball players sometimes, and you say they use their head so well in certain instances, and then they turn around and make a stupid backboard foul like that, which will cost dearly.
And that's the 4th foul, Mindy, on Ford. Not only was it not an intelligent maneuver at that end of the court, he's playing with 3 as Herb Brown yells instructions at the Detroit team. He took over from Ray Scott in January. I'll tell you what's vital about Chris Ford in this game is his defense. He did a magnificent job early against Gary Brokaw, who was at the free throw line, and that free throw tied the score at 64. So Gary Brokaw can put the Bucks back ahead as we seesaw back and forth in this qualifying round. He does.
65-64.
Winner goes west and the loser goes home. Howard Porter maneuvering against Dandridge. Could not get free. Now Money bounces off of Lanier and out of bounds on the turnover. Not a good pass. It took a bounce in too tight to Lanier. Milwaukee ahead by that point. We move down inside of 7 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Brokaw just hanging in the air, just enough time to get the shot off. Now there's another turnover by Detroit. Now someone's going to call time here, I'm certain, and get this team together, because that's 3 or 4 right in a row, and that is not good playoff basketball. You can't afford to turn the ball over like that, Brent.
That's exactly what he's done, Mendy. The Pistons right now going over to talk to Herb Brown. They trail by 3, 6:47 to go in the third.
In cities all over the world these days, there's congestion, even underground. The cables beneath the streets carry more and more phone calls, computer data, TV signals. Do we have to keep tearing up streets for bigger and bigger cables? The people of ITT have an answer. Optical fibers, threads of glass thin as human hair. ITT has pioneered a practical way to communicate over these fibers by light, laser light. Eventually, today's underground cables could be replaced by ITT optical fibers, carrying thousands of times more information in the same space. We could end that congestion below the streets without tearing them up to do it.
In 2 weeks, CBS Sports will present the $200,000 Houston Open, where the top golfers will be going after the $40,000 first prize.
Back in the Milwaukee arena. Staccato applause begins here. And a happy Easter to everyone who is enjoying Sunday afternoon watching tremendous NBA action here on CBS. In overtime, Buffalo eliminates Philadelphia, so congratulations to the Braves. And for you 76er fans, you've got to look forward to next year. That team can only get better and better with George McGinnis and Doug Collins and the rest of those stars. Dandridge goes one-on-one with Rowe. Gets Rowe off the floor, comes back up. Elmore tips it. Porter has it taken away by Myers, who lost control, and it went out of bounds.
Well, we're going to have a force out here, although the ball did go off of Myers last. Darrell Garrison has come up with a force-out call, and the ball will go back to Milwaukee. And he received a standing ovation on that play for his hustle. He is playing some ball game, as you mentioned earlier, Brent.
It is a 3-point Milwaukee lead at 6:26, Mendy. Brokaw gets inside. Lanier with a block. Porter off to Archie Clark, who has come back in for Herb Brown. So the veteran, 10 years of experience in the NBA. Archie Clark, always in the playoffs, on the floor. Lanier wide open. Myers challenged him. He got him as he came across. Lanier was all alone, and David Myers, the rookie from UCLA, did not back off. He went right over there.
Elmore Smith tried to overplay Lanier on that particular play. And Myers, as you mentioned, from UCLA, just went over and challenged Lanier. Another good foul, because he wiped out the basket and prevented a possible three-point play. If you're going to foul somebody going to the field goal like that for an easy field goal, make sure he doesn't score, because there's no sense giving him 3. Maybe he'll miss a free throw or 2.
Mendy, earlier this year, Lanier was hurt in a game against Seattle, and he shot his free throws right-handed. So the big guy, whom some say doesn't play with pain, has played with a great deal of it this year, frequently. He is healthy this afternoon. He has Detroit to within 1 point of Milwaukee, 5:59 on the clock. Elmore Smith out, tries to pass in. Lanier got a hand on it, and hustling Bobby Dandridge picks it up, starts to move toward the basket, shot clock down, and Elmore Smith all alone.
Bobby Dandridge looking for the open man. He knew Lanier was away from Elmore Smith as he went to the hoop, and just a little scoop shot to Elmore. Good pass by Dandridge.
Ryan Winters harassing Archie Clark out high. Here's Eric Money starting his move in the lane. Hey, the little guy can do it down there in the land of the Giants. Brokaw back quickly for Milwaukee on the run. He is stopped by Archie Clark. Dandridge the trailing man. Lead has changed hands 11 times in this game. Elmore Smith was beginning to back in on Lanier. Foul called. And that is the 4th foul on Rowe, who connected with him. And Curtis can't believe it. He's out there talking to Earl Strom. He said, wait a minute, who did I hit? 2 shots for Dandridge, who's at the line. Mendy, Dandridge was cold like Brokaw early in this game.
He has come back. they start counting for points. You know, when you get down into the closing minutes of any quarter, they become important because you get teams in the penalty situation.
Eric Money again. And we are tied once more in the arena at 70. 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. Stark harassing Brian Winters. There's been some pretty good defense on Winters here lately, too. He has not been as devastating as he was in the first half. Here's Brokaw. Now Winters will go to work on Archie Clark. Throws up the jump shot right there. Back to work.
That's the play we saw Larry Costello working in practice yesterday. Down low to Winters or down low to Brokaw, clearing out, going one-on-one.
With that quickness, Money got to the baseline in a hurry, but could go no further. Rowe jump shot.
I'll tell you, we have a ping-pong match here. The biggest lead that either team has had in this particular quarter has only been 3 points, and now we got a tied score again.
Milwaukee turns it over. Money comes right back down. Gives to Howard Porter, who comes up with a short jump shot and has Detroit in the lead. 74-72. 4 minutes and 15 seconds up on that clock. Larry Costello, the Milwaukee coach, he wants a timeout. Doesn't like the way things have gone here lately, and he wants to bring his team over to the sideline. You talk about a coach who brings desire to his job, Mendy. He will work a contest as hard as any coach I have ever watched, high school, college, or pros.
When a man retires from football, the worst thing he can do is let himself slow down. That's why we all get together and try to stay active. And we drink light beer from Miller. We love the way it tastes. But the great thing is, it's actually less filling. Light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer. Heck, active guys like us wouldn't dream of getting filled up. Ready, guys?
Light beer from Miller.
Everything you always wanted in a beer.
And less.
In passing tests certified by the United States Auto Club at various road speeds, it was shown that Ford's Pinto Pony, even with its road-hugging weight, moved out and passed faster than Datsun B210, faster than Chevette, and faster than Toyota Corolla. Yet Pinto Pony still gets great mileage ratings. This kind of performance helps make Pinto the best-selling small car in America at your Ford dealer.
It's your face, let Schick love it. It's your face, let Schick love it. It's your face, let Schick love it.
Schick loves your face with Super 2, the only twin-blade cartridge with a Teflon coating that makes closeness really comfortable. It fits track 2 handles, and it really loves your face.
It's your face, let Schick love it.
Schick Super 2, regular or adjustable.
Mindy, that statistic reveals one of Costello's problem areas. During the season, the Bucks committed 121 more turnovers than their opponents did, and they're turning the ball over more than Detroit. Incidentally, what did Eric Money say to you when he came past?
It was very cute, because right before that timeout was called, he caught my eye as it was coming up court, and I caught his eye, and he mouthed to me, he said, "Wow, Mindy, these games are tough." He's right, they are tough.
Well, Money in Detroit ahead by 2. Myers goes to work off the iron. Lanier rebounds, and here is Eric. Lead pass to Archie Clark. Clark cuts through the lane and collides with Money, who tries to save it and hit it back, and they turned it over.
Not only are they tough, but when you get knocked over by one of your own teammates, it makes it even tougher.
On the side, Brokaw and Winters will put it in play. Here's Brian. Second-year pro out of South Carolina.
Watch it, Archie! Watch it, Archie!
Goes one-on-one with Rowe, takes him to the baseline, and jump shot. Tied at 74, 3:34 to go.
Milwaukee will do that. They'll clear out one side, as you just saw. Brian Winters was the other player who did it before, Brent, and now it was Dandridge who did it, one-on-one.
Foul on David Myers. Myers was battling Rowe. That is his 5th personal. So the 2 UCLA stars were going at it. And they are going to miss Myers. I would imagine Costello might try Kevin Rastani before long. He has not been in this game. Here's Lanier inside, the left-handed hook off the glass, and Detroit goes up by 2. Rastani is indeed getting up right now. He'll be checking back in. They'll give Myers a break with 5 fouls. Here's David handling the ball. Gives it off now to Winters. Winters comes baseline, jump shot, throw it up.
Hey, Brian Winters has a tremendous range. I said it earlier in the telecast. You just cannot give him room to shoot. The best way to defend him, Brent, is to defend him before he gets the ball.
Tied again, this time at 76. Elmore Smith came out and tapped it, but it will stay in the possession of the Pistons. And Herbie Brown, the Detroit coach, is up. He wants to call a timeout right now. You see Kevin Rustani, second-year pro from San Francisco. He will play. So far, Milwaukee has had a lot of trouble with its strong forwards until the performance of David Myers in this game today.
I am sure that Herbie Brown was very, very aware of the substitution that just took place. And let's look for a play against Rustani. He does not think too highly of Rustani's defensive ability. We heard that in practice yesterday, and I'm certain they'll either hit Lanier or hit the man who picks up Rustani. We'll watch for that, Brent.
A very interesting team here in Milwaukee, even without the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's the regular season record that you saw up there, 38-44.
And I might add that was the identical record they had last year, 38-44, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Exactly.
Detroit bending in, listening to Herb Brown, although I think that voice I'm picking up is Larry Costello. I hear him mention Elmore Smith, so the voice is not coming from Detroit, it's Costello.
Let him go down, try to get a pass here. Bring your man in.
Of course, indeed, we picked up some of the talk as Costello was again teaching this young team. Out here at practice yesterday, he never stopped. They'd run a play, he'd go back to the drawing boards with it, showing them exactly what he wanted them to do.
I don't know if I can take another overtime game, Brent. This is a 70-76 game right here. And this game in the third quarter has been tied 6 times already. And we've had a ping-pong match. I don't know if I can handle the third or second overtime game.
I got so involved watching Buffalo-Philadelphia that I forgot that our game had already started.
That was a heartbreaker for either team to win or lose. That's one thing about basketball, Brent. There are no ties. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose.
Here's Rowe waiting for Archie Clark, who comes around him. Rowe tries to pick off Brokaw, fought through it and stayed right with Clark. Here's Rowe inside. Missed on the shot. And now Milwaukee with a lead pass up to Dandridge. Dandridge has it on the floor at the baseline. Lanier was there with the block. Pistons now come back tied at 76. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Clark hits Lanier at the free throw line. Comes back up with his left-handed shot, and the Pistons slide into the lead by 2. Quick pass off of Rustani's hand. Milwaukee sloppy on that play. They have turned it over. Mindy, you mentioned the Buffalo game, and that final score again for those who have just joined us. Buffalo 124, Philadelphia 123, decided in overtime, and 34 points for the big back, Bob McAdoo. You'll see him next Sunday on CBS as Buffalo now takes on the Boston Celtics. Money off the iron. Brokaw brings it down. Milwaukee with a chance to tie it up if they can convert. And Gary Brokaw, did you see him get off the floor? What elevation he got.
Not only did he get off the floor, but he got off the floor with a little push from Archie Clark that time. He helped him get off his feet.
Jimmy Fox and George Trapp will be checking back into the game for Milwaukee and Detroit, respectively. Tied at 78, 1:35 left. Lanier with great range outside, partially blocked. Someone, I believe, hit the bottom of his hand.
Elmore Smith.
Intercepted by Archie Clark, who comes right back for the Pistons. Off the iron, Money throws it up.
That's what I talk about, position on rebound. Now, Brokaw is at least 4 or 5 inches taller than Eric Money, yet Money had the position on the rebound and converted it into a field goal.
Smallest man on the floor, 6 foot. That's the offensive boards for the Piston and converts. And Brian Winters, he could throw him in from downtown Milwaukee right now. Tied at 80 with 104. Baseline drive by Archie Clark, who tossed it up. No foul. Brian Winters brings it back down. Milwaukee will try to regain the lead. He slammed in to Eric Money, and Winters goes down. He's injured his right ankle. That's going to be more important than the foul call against him right here.
Happened to be an excellent foul call, but of course, as you mentioned, how is he? Is it a knee or is it his ankle?
I believe it's a right ankle, Mindy. We'll wait for the trainer to come out, but I think that's what he grabbed in pain. Yes, it is. There's his hand. Let's take a look at him. You think right now that Eric Money had position on this,
no
right?
No question, he had a position. What happened is Brian Winters turned his head slightly to see who the trailer was on the play. And when the defense has its position, you've got to avoid it. You just cannot run through them. Larry Costello, very unhappy with the call. Those are tough calls to make in a playoff game, but you've got to consider the consequences of any call, Brent. You just can't think out there. You've got to blow the whistle and react immediately.
They had a lot of contact between these two teams in Detroit Thursday, Mindy. I believe they had 25 fouls called in the fourth period. You and I went over to the television station and screened the second half of that ball game, and it was like one long procession to the free throw line there for a time.
You were right. And in that quarter, late in that quarter, I might add, that Lanier fouled out of that game. But, of course, they went on to win it, but it didn't help their cause any.
Jack McKinney there in the Czech sport coat. He is Costello's assistant coach. Brian Winters. He certainly has one of the finest mustaches in the NBA. I got to say that, along with being a deadly shooter. So Jimmy Price will get a chance to run the Bucks with Winters taking a break.
See, the strange thing about this crowd reaction when you make a call like that, Brent, is very interesting. Let's say the call went the other way. I mean, the important thing at this point in the game is not the call, offensive or defensive foul. It's Brian Winters' injury. And had the official called it the other way, Brian Winters would still have been injured, would he not? Nothing would have changed any.
Herbie Brown has just given Bob Lanier a rest. Well, there's a great story when Lanier was in New York, and the writers asked him after a Knick Piston game how he got along with Herb Brown. He said, everything's fine except he's a screamer, and he bothers me on the bench.
And then they asked him, can you stand screamers and hollerers? And he said, no, I can't stand screamers and hollerers.
Eric Money has it blocked by Jimmy Price. And Dandridge came out with Jim Price. And the foul is against Dandridge. That is the third personal foul and also the third team foul.
2 minutes. Pistons ball.
Eric Money with control for Herb Brown's Pistons. Tied at 80. Some 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. They run the shot clock down toward 10, and then Archie Clark takes it himself. George Trapp controls, hit out of bounds by Dandridge.
Now, if Detroit is smart, they'll listen to Coach Herbie Brown over here and just play for the last shot in this quarter. They've got 24 seconds on the big clock, and they'll probably go for the last shot.
You can see just a 2-second difference in the clocks as they go to work here with a game tied at 80. Curtis Rowe, Roger Brown was fouled when he came back up.
Now you see, that's what I mean by intelligent basketball. Now there's a foul on Roger Brown. Going to put Milwaukee in the line for 2 free throws. Had they held the ball for the last shot, there is no way possible that Detroit would have committed a foul. A 4-point swing in that particular distance. Now that is not intelligent basketball. Those are the kind of plays that can lose ball games for you. Here's a team that could have possibly converted a field goal and gone ahead by 2, but by taking the shot too early, Brent, they possibly will go down by 2.
And Mindy, Curtis Rowe, the perpetrator of that mistake, just went to the sideline, and the assistant coach, Larry Brown, was telling him, you know, we had 14 seconds up there. You should have run it down a little bit more. So here's Fox. And because of that mistake, Milwaukee has gone ahead by 2 points with 14 seconds. But Detroit can come right back and... .72. 4 minutes and 15 seconds up on that clock. Larry Costello, the Milwaukee coach, he wants a timeout. Doesn't like the way things have gone here lately, and he wants to bring his team over to the sideline. You talk about a coach who brings desire to his job, Mendy. He will work a contest as hard as any coach I have ever watched, high school, college, or pros.
When a man retires from football, the worst thing he can do is let himself slow down. That's why we all get together and try to stay active. And we drink light beer from Miller. We love the way it tastes. But the great thing is, it's actually less filling. Light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer. Heck, active guys like us wouldn't dream of getting filled up. Ready, guys?
Light beer from Miller.
Everything you always wanted in a beer.
And less.
In passing tests certified by the United States Auto Club at various road speeds, it was shown that Ford's Pinto Pony, even with its road-hugging weight, moved out and passed faster than Datsun B210, faster than Chevette, and faster than Toyota Corolla. Yet Pinto Pony still gets great mileage ratings. This kind of performance helps make Pinto the best-selling small car in America at your Ford dealer.
It's your face, let Chic love it. It's your face, let Chic love it. It's your face, let Chic love it.
Chic loves your face with Super 2, the only twin-blade cartridge with a Teflon coating that makes closeness really comfortable. It fits track 2 handles, and it really loves your face.
It's your face, let Chic love it.
Chic Super 2, regular or adjustable.
Mindy, that statistic reveals one of Costello's problem areas. During the season, the Bucks committed 121 more turnovers than their opponents did, and they're turning the ball over more than Detroit. Incidentally, what did Eric Money say to you when he came past?
That was very cute, because right before that timeout was called, he caught my eye as it was coming up court, and I caught his eye, and he mouthed to me and said, "Wow, Mindy, these games are tough." He's right, they are tough.
Well, Money in Detroit ahead by 2. Myers goes to work off the iron. Lanier rebounds, and here is Eric. Lead pass to Archie Clark. Clark cuts through the lane and flies with Money, who tries to save it and hit it back, and they turned it over.
Not only are they tough, but when you get knocked over by one of your own teammates, it makes it even tougher.
On the side, Brokaw and Winters will put it in play. Here's Brian. Second-year pro out of South Carolina.
Watch it, Archie! Watch it, Archie!
Goes one-on-one with Rowe, takes him to the baseline, and jump shot. Tied at 74, 3:34 to go.
Milwaukee will do that. They'll clear out one side, as you just saw. Brian Winters was the other player who did it before, Brent, and now it was Dandridge who did it, one-on-one.
Foul on David Myers. Myers was battling Rowe. That is his 5th personal. So the 2 UCLA stars were going at it. And they are going to miss Myers. I would imagine Costello might try Kevin Rastani before long. He has not been in this game. Here's Lanier inside, the left-handed hook off the glass, and Detroit goes up by 2. Rastani is indeed getting up right now. He'll be checking back in. They'll give Myers a break with 5 fouls. Here's David handling the ball. Gives it off now to Winters. Winters comes baseline, jump shot, throw it up.
Well, Brian Winters has a tremendous range. I said it earlier in the telecast. You just cannot give him room to shoot. The best way to defend him, Brent, is to defend him before he gets the ball.
Tied again, this time at 76. Elmore Smith came out and tapped it, but it will stay in the possession of the Pistons. And Herbie Brown, the Detroit coach, is up. He wants to call a timeout right now. You see Kevin Rastani, second-year pro from San Francisco. He will play. So far, Milwaukee has had a lot of trouble with its strong forwards until the performance of David Myers in this game today.
I am sure that Herbie Brown was very, very aware of the substitution that just took place. And let's look for a play or a play against Rastani. He does not think too highly of Rastani's defensive ability. We heard that in practice yesterday, and I'm certain they'll either hit Lanier or hit the man who picks up Rastani. We'll watch for that, Brent.
A very interesting team here in Milwaukee, even without the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's the regular season record that you saw up there, 38-44.
And I might add that was the identical record they had last year, 38-44, with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Exactly.
Detroit bending in, listening to Herb Brown, although I think that voice I'm picking up is Larry Costello. I hear him mention Elmore Smith, so the voice is not coming from Detroit, it's Costello.
Let him go down, try to get a pass here. Bring your man in.
Of course, indeed, we picked up some of the talk as Costello was again teaching this young team. Out here at practice yesterday, he never stopped. They'd run a play, he'd go back to the drawing boards with it, showing them exactly what he wanted them to do.
I don't know if I can take another overtime game, Brent. This is a 70-76 game right here. And this game in the third quarter has been tied 6 times already. And we've had a ping pong match. I don't know if I can handle the third or second overtime game.
I got so involved watching Buffalo, Philadelphia that I forgot that our game had already started.
Hey, that was a heartbreaker for either team to win or lose. That's one thing about basketball, Brent. There are no ties. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose.
Here's Rowe waiting for Archie Clark, who comes around him. Rowe tries to pick off Brokaw, who's fought through it and stayed right with Clark. Here's Rowe inside. Missed on the shot. And now Milwaukee with a lead pass up to Dandridge. Dandridge has it on the floor at the baseline. Lanier was there with the block. Pistons now come back tied at 76. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Clark hits Lanier at the free throw line. Comes back up with his left-handed shot, and the Pistons slide into the lead by 2. Quick pass off of Rastani's hand. Milwaukee sloppy on that play. They have turned it over. Mindy, you mentioned the Buffalo game, and that final score again for those who have just joined us. Buffalo 124, Philadelphia 123, decided in overtime, and 34 points for the big back, Bob McAdoo. You'll see him next Sunday on CBS as Buffalo now takes on the Boston Celtics. Money off the iron. Brokaw brings it down. Milwaukee with a chance to tie it up if they can convert. And Gary Brokaw, did you see him get off the floor? What elevation he got.
Not only did he get off the floor, but he got off the floor with a little push from Archie Clark that time. He helped him get off his feet.
Jimmy Fox and George Trapp will be checking back into the game for Milwaukee and Detroit respectively. Tied at 78, 1:35 left. Lanier with great range outside, partially blocked. Someone, I believe, hit the bottom of his hand.
Elmore Smith.
Intercepted by Archie Clark, who comes right back for the Pistons. Off the iron, Money throws it up.
That's what I talk about, position on rebound. Now, Brokaw is at least 4 or 5 inches taller than Eric Money, yet Money had the position on the rebound and converted it into a field goal.
Smallest man on the floor, 6 foot. Hits the offensive boards for the Piston and converts. And Brian Winters, he could throw him in from downtown Milwaukee right now. Tied at 80 with 1:04. Baseline drive by Archie Clark, who tossed it up. No foul. Brian Winters brings it back down. Milwaukee will try to regain the lead. He slammed in to Eric Money, and Winters goes down. He's injured his right ankle. That's going to be more important than the foul call against him right here.
Happened to be an excellent foul call, but of course, as you mentioned, how is he? Is it a knee or is it his ankle?
I believe it's a right ankle, Mindy. We'll wait for the trainer to come out, but I think that's what he grabbed in pain. Yes, it is. There's his hand. Let's take a look at him. You think right now that Eric Money had position on this,
no
right?
question. He had position. What happened is Brian Winters turned his head slightly to see who the trailer was on the play. And when the defense has his position, you've got to avoid him. You just cannot run through him. Larry Costello, very unhappy with the call. Those are tough calls to make in a playoff game, but you've got to consider the consequences of any call, Brent. You just can't think out there. You've got to blow the whistle and react immediately.
They had a lot of contact between these two teams in Detroit Thursday, Mindy. I believe they had 25 fouls called in the fourth period. You and I went over to the television station and screened the second half of that ball game, and it was like one long procession to the free throw line there for a time.
You were right, and in that quarter, late in that quarter, I might add, that Lanier fouled out of that game. But of course, they went on to win it, but it didn't help their cause any.
Jack McKinney there, the Czech sport coach. He is Costello's assistant coach. Brian Winters. He certainly has one of the finest mustaches in the NBA. I got to say that, along with being a deadly shooter. So Jimmy Price will get a chance to run the Bucks with Winters taking a break.
See, the strange thing about this crowd reaction when you make a call like that, Brent, is very interesting. Let's say the call went the other way. I mean, the important thing at this point in the game is not the call, offensive or defensive foul. It's Brian Winters' injury. And had the official called it the other way, Brian Winters would still have been injured, would he not? Nothing would have changed any.
They have two.
Herbie Brown has just given Bob Lanier a rest. Well, there's a great story when Lanier was in New York, and the writers asked him after a Nick Piston game how he got along with Herb Brown. He said, everything's fine except he's a screamer, and he bothers me on the bench.
And then they asked him, can you stand screamers and hollerers? And he said, no, I can't stand screamers and hollerers.
Eric Money has it blocked by Jimmy Price, and Dandridge came out with Jim Price, and the foul is against Dandridge. That is the third personal foul and also the third team foul.
2 minutes. Pistons ball.
Eric Money with control for Herb Brown's Pistons, tied at 80. Some 30 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. They run the shot clock down toward 10, and then Archie Clark takes it himself. George Trapp controls, hit out of bounds by Dandridge.
Now, if Detroit is smart, they'll listen to Coach Herbie Brown over here and just play for the last shot in this quarter. They've got 24 seconds on the big clock, and they'll probably go for the last shot.
You can see just a 2-second difference in the clocks as they go to work here with a game tied at 80. Curtis Rowe, Roger Brown was fouled when he came back up.
Now you see, that's what I mean by intelligent basketball. Now there's a foul on Roger Brown. Going to put Milwaukee in the line for 2 free throws. Had they held the ball for the last shot, there is no way possible that Detroit would have committed a foul. A 4-point swing on that particular distance. Now that is not intelligent basketball. Those are the kind of plays that can lose ball games for you. Here's a team that could have possibly converted a field goal and gone ahead by 2, but by taking the shot too early, Brent, they possibly will go down by 2.
And Mindy, Curtis Rowe, the perpetrator of that mistake, just went to the sideline, and the assistant coach, Larry Brown, was telling him, you know, we had 14 seconds up there. You should have run it down a little bit more. So here's Fox. And because of that mistake, Milwaukee has gone ahead by 2 points with 14 seconds. But Detroit can come right back and gain a tie here. And inside of 10 seconds, Archie Clark goes in on Fox with a miss. Dandridge controls the rebound. Outlet to Price. About 2 seconds to go. Jimmy Price throws one up at the buzzer and off the glass.
Wow, I don't know if they can continue with this into the fourth quarter. This pace has been absolutely tremendous, Brent.
Larry Costello brings the Bucks over. We're at the end of 3.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Brad Brunell's 71 Ford Torino gets better mileage now than it got before. The only difference, a fresh set of champions. Same thing with Johnny Creech's 74 Toyota. Better mileage with a fresh set of champions. If your plugs are worn, a fresh set of champion spark plugs can help your mileage and performance too. Come on, how's your car been lately? Get better mileage. Fill her up with champions. In passing tests certified by the United States Auto Club at various road speeds, it was shown that Ford's Pinto Pony, even with its road-hugging weight, moved out and passed faster than Datsun B210, faster than Chevette, and faster than Toyota Corolla. Yet Pinto Pony still gets great mileage ratings. This kind of performance helps make Pinto the best-selling small car in America at your Ford dealer.
Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Get aboard, get away, and you're gonna say, let the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll.
Unless we go to overtime, the last 12 minutes coming up. Milwaukee leading Detroit 82-80.
How close was that third quarter? Now, I hate stats, but I got to lay this one on you, Brent. There were 8 ties in that quarter and 9 lead changes.
What a
Stay
close
close,
game
baby.
that was. We've got Mindy, Clark, and Money working with Everhard, Trapp, and Brown for Detroit. Fox, Bridgman, Dandridge, Price, and Brian Winters is back in the game for Milwaukee. And they need him. He scored 29 points. He is high for both teams. Lanier has 24. Here's Trapp going to work against Dandridge. He's the shooter, and if he can't convert, they'll take him back out in a hurry. Everhard battling Fox got inside position, and Brian Winters reached over, touched it last, and knocked it out of bounds. So the ball belongs to Detroit.
You talk about George Trapp shooting on the streak. There's one miss. Now you'll find the rebound coming back just off of Brian Winters' fingertips.
Inbounds play, Trapp again. Fox rebound. George Trapp not a lot of help if he's not going to put the ball in the hole for Herbie Brown. He can be a magnificent shooter when he turns hot.
Let's watch this, Brent. They've got Dandridge isolated over here. Let's see if they hit him.
They go the other side right now. Everhard is on Dandridge. Now they swing back Mindy away from it, and they go Winters one-on-one with Money, and Money got a hand on it. And here comes Clark. Price comes back. Everhard is there. Clark to Everhard. Bobby Dandridge hit him. No foul. Here's Archie Clark now slowing it up, rotating around Price. Jump shot over Fox. Tied at 82.
Great body control by Everhard by not going out of bounds that time. I don't know how he stayed inbounds and got the ball off. Good play.
Here's Dandridge getting past Trapp, getting his assault on the basket. But there was a foul as he started his move in.